everyone. Hello, everybody. Tim Castleman here with a hangover edition of the Tim Talks podcast. We're speaking in a low voice because my head hurts. My stomach is full of vodka Red Bulls. You know, it's funny. When you start playing cards in Vegas, still doing some episodes, front loading, whatever the buzzword is, still here, still having a great time. Last night, decided, you know what, it's time to hit the tables. I've seen Rounders, I've seen the World Series of Poker. It's my time to break the bank at Vegas, which is impossible because, you know, you're playing against other players. But decided to go over to the Bellagio, had about $400 vodka Red Bull, about $400 worth, depending on what I lost on the tables. Then went to Bally's, didn't get shot or stabbed there. Definitely don't know why that place is still, like, who stays at Bally's Resort? Is that like where they put people as a last resort? Is it like, listen, Motel 6 is booked up, but we can stay at Bally's if you want. I really do feel like if you went to Bally's and you went on the inside and just put your hand on the wall and you just rubbed it down, you would get about 400 years of smoking just right on your fingertips. But went over there, lost some money to some locals there. Here's a little trick for you non-card sharks like myself. If you sit down and the dealer knows all the people at the table by first name and is asking them about their family, chances are that's not going to be a good table for you to play cards at. And that's what happened to me. I ran into the buzzsaw, known as two pairs, constantly getting counterfeited. I don't know if that's the proper term, but yeah, lost to three of a kind, lost to a full house, lost. But I'm not DJ Khaled, so I was like, I can never take an L. I got to rally one more time. So I switched for a third time, right, which I believe, technically, if you go to 3 different casinos to lose all your money, that's probably a gambling addiction. You should talk to someone, 1-800-GAMBLER. I don't know if that's the right number or not. But I go over to Caesars, and I sit down at a table that would be lovingly referred to as the United Nations, because we had a guy from Texas, me, had a dude from Finland, had a dude from India, had a guy from Nepal, had a guy from Chicago, had a dude from Oklahoma, and had a dude from China. So it was very, very interesting to try and communicate. Had a great night there. Got there probably about 2 o'clock in the morning Vegas time, which would be about 4 o'clock my time. And then I walked out of the casino about 7:30 in the morning, saw that the sun was up, and knew instantly that I had fucked up, because I was supposed to have been in bed 6 hours ago. And, you know, Sue, being the loving person that she is.
I was very, very wary, Tim.
Yes.
Every other hour, I'm like, should I call the police? I don't.
She
But
was scared.
I was.
Yeah. And she texted me and she was like, look, this is just the mom and me. I don't know if you're like in jail or having the time of your life, but if you could just let me know that you're alive, I'd greatly appreciate it. And little did she know, I was already on the way back to the hotel.
Luckily. Phew.
So I sent her out today. I was like, you go live your best Vegas life. You go look at what you'd like to do and do all that stuff. I'm going to hug this pillow as if it was a long lost friend and get a couple hours of shut eye, which we did. So what did you do in your time today while I was just laying in bed going, don't puke?
Well, I walked across the street to check out the infamous CES conference. So there was quite a few people going in there.
Consumer Electronics Show, by the way.
Yes. Because I know Tim expressed interest, and come to find out, I guess you could indeed go to the conference for the paltry sum of $300 if you like. For the next 3 days, so I wasn't quite sure if that was something you were interested in.
Well, see, it's weird that because I looked at it, you know, because
Right.
it's the Consumer Electronics Show, so you're like, oh, well, of course I can probably go to that. Turns out that they were like, no, because of COVID and all that stuff, which I totally understand.
Yes.
You know, $300 and you want to give me some free swag. I mean, sure. You know, you want to give me a pair of headphones for $300 and then walk around? Yeah, but just to walk around at all the shit that I know I'm eventually going to buy
Yeah,
and it's going to be in a drawer. And also, if it was a normal one, I probably would. But like I know, so Amazon, Facebook, Google, all those big companies have pulled out this year, you know, out of respect for Omicron and all that good stuff. Rest in peace, Delta.
Even the parking attendant I spoke to told me that.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, and they cut it off by a day early.
Yeah, they cut it a day
like,
early. Yeah. So, you know what we decided to do? We said, no, we're not going to do that. Instead, tomorrow, we're going to go check out the New York Rangers versus the Vegas Knights, which is my first time ever seeing a hockey game here in Las Vegas.
So excited.
Yeah, so we're super pumped about that. Hockey fans for life. You're like, hockey, what's that? It's like, okay, if you look at the sports, right, and you go NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, soccer, right, women's volleyball, and then it's like hockey is going to be somewhere even farther down that list, unfortunately,
Right.
as
Well,
far as
you know,
popularity. Yeah.
I'm from the Boston area, so
Well,
I have to be a sports fan, or they will just kill me.
Oh,
So
it's just like living in Texas. You gotta know about the Dallas Cowboys,
Of course.
because if you don't, they'll be like, "What are you doing in Texas, boy? You're supposed to root for the Cowboys." So that's what's going on there. We're gonna go out to dinner tonight and have a relaxing evening, calm night. And I'll be honest, you're like, well, Tim, why'd you go so crazy last night? Well, Sue was like, oh, I just want to take it easy tonight, get some rest. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I heard sprint, and I was like, go run, Rudolph, all around town, as they say.
And I was like, win big, Tim. Win big, big, big.
And that did not happen.
It
That
did not, sadly.
No, I could
So-
probably have bought the Vegas Knights for what I lost last night. If the Vegas Knights were available for like $300, right? So it's been great. Got a little controversy, if you will, it's just a head scratcher to me. I got to be honest. Currently, as we're recording this in January of 2022, I'm a single man, and unfortunately, being a single man, at 42 with no, what do they call that game, if you will, you're forced to date on these apps, right? Because I don't ever leave my house because I'm a shut-in, which is probably something I should take out of my Tinder profile and Bumble and Hinge and all of these other profiles. I'm trying to find future ex-wife number 3 here, and you run across some interesting profiles. And what I've been doing lately is sharing my Tinder adventures online because I don't have friends or boundaries. So I'll share screenshots of the wildest profiles. A lot of times, maybe it's just a screenshot of what they say. Sometimes it's a full, just because I'm lazy, screenshot that's got their face, their name, and all that. So while I'm here in Las Vegas, I'm like, let me see what the ladies look like in Las Vegas, because when I went to Alabama, it was a problem. I was just like driving, and I was like, uglier. I was like, okay, well, until I'm getting close to Alabama. I was like, good Lord. So I posted one the other day. This lady has what I believe is commonly referred to as resting bitch face. Not my term made up by society. And I don't even remember what she said. It was like something like, I'm a nice person or something like that. So I take a photo of the screenshot, as I've done. I post it, as I do. And I'm just like, yeah, your face leads me not to believe it. And people laugh, people ha ha ha, but then slowly things start trickling in of like, dude, this is kind of weird. I don't think you should be posting people's Tinder profile. This is a human being. And here's the head scratcher to me. Like, 1, it's not someone that any of us know. 2, it's in another state that I'm in. 3, and I will also say that the compromise is that I'm going to take out the names from now on and then try to block the eyes like they do in all those mob movies where they show the guys going to a witness protection program. Like, I'll do that, okay? But it wasn't like I was overly critical of this lady. I wasn't like, God damn, look at this ugly ass bitch or anything like that. And I don't know. I just feel like the juice is not worth the squeeze in terms of like there should be no smoke for that. So it's just a weird thing to do. If I was like on a like FetLife or some crazy website like that and exposing people, or like swingers.com, and you find the town mayor and you expose them there, like, okay, maybe there's a point to that. But this way, I just don't I don't get it. So I don't know, Sue. I mean, I don't want to call people snowflakes because they have their right to their opinions. I definitely don't mean it I mean it in a humorous way of like, can you fucking believe what my life, like, I mean, I matched with a girl the other day, and it was like, hey, what type of reality show am I getting into, et cetera, et cetera. She asked me a question about my dog. I tell her, and then she just immediately unmatches with me. So I share that, and people are like, I can't believe you're sharing. It was just a regular, like, hi, hey, what are you doing? What do you do? Conversation. It's weird when you share part of your life and people are like, nah, we don't want to see that part from you.
Yeah, I don't get, especially because it's social media.
Yeah.
And it's all about sharing.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
And just to be clear, I'm not going to other people's walls and posting it on
Right.
their walls. I'm posting
Right.
it on my wall, and being like, well, this is what I'm about.
They
and-
don't have to follow you,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I will tell you that's a big two big changes. One, I instantly thought about responding how I normally would and be like, "Fuck you! You don't fucking know what you're talking about." Ego, angry. And then I was like, you know what? No, let's be Switzerland. Let's compromise. Let's meet in the middle. Let's do some things so that maybe the woke mob won't engulf me. But the other thing is, and I've told them all, like, I'm not going to change, guys. Like, so much of my adult life has been trying to compensate for who I am as a person, or feeling like, oh no, you can't, oh, you got to be worried about this and worried about that, and what are people going to think? And I'm fucking over it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to be posting like Hitler memes or, like Adolf was up to something like that type of shit. I totally get people losing it. But I like inappropriate jokes in humor. I like 12-year-old humor. I like saying things that are shocking. I like being like, can you believe this lady? I mean, there was a lady in Alabama that was wearing a Confederate flag as a bathing suit, had a big Jesus piece, for those people that aren't a fan of hip hop, that means a big cross, had a cowboy hat that looked like something Toby Keith would wear in an American flag video. I mean, this lady, no political affiliation aside, but I'm going to guess that she didn't vote for Obama when he was president, and she probably was more of a Trumper than a Biden person, And I post a photo of that, and I'm just like, God damn, like, like how many red flags can you see in this photo? That's funny to me. Like, it's humorous. And I guess the thing that bothers me, and some of it's ego, some of it's the whole double standard, but it's like, how many times do dudes get dragged for shit that they say online? Like, you'll see people post, screenshots of conversations where the dude's like, hey, and then 2 weeks later, hey, what's up? 2 weeks after that, hey, you want to get dinner? And they're like, dude, this guy just won't get a fucking clue. And if you look at those get liked, those get commented, those get shared. You go, girl, these clueless fucking men. And I'm not just saying it's men to women. I know it happens on both sides, but it's just a weird thing to be like, I came to your wall to tell you that the thing that you do and the humor that you like isn't something that I like. And as a result of that, you should change who you are as a person to better suit me.
Because I don't find you funny.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And the other thing is this, like, people are like, you shouldn't share these. Nobody likes them. Well, that's bullshit. Because if you go to a little place where you lose your life called reddit.com, you go to the Tinder subreddit, they have like 5 million subscribers. And that's all what I do on Facebook is all they do on Reddit. And they're like, well, no one likes these. It's like, well, 5 million people appear to like exactly what I'm doing, or the theme or the thing. So I think it's a good reminder to me that, again, old me would have just been rigid, fuck you, burn everything down, you all can suck my dick. And new me is like, nope, you know what? Okay, maybe you got a point. Maybe I take the name out, so that no one can chase her back to a random town. And, maybe we cover the eyes so that people, can't, whatever it may be, we'll get it taken care of so that you snowflakes won't melt when I post something that offends your delicate senses. So meet in the middle, but then also understanding like, yeah, hey, I'll meet in the middle, but I'm not going to just delete this or stop doing this. This is who I am as a person. And you don't need everybody, right? In fact, I think the worst thing you could ever do in life and business is trying to please everybody. And for every person, I think there's 3 people that have posted negative comments on there. There's 25 people that have been like, this is hilarious, all those things. So to me, the crowd is saying we like it. There are individuals, and there's always going to be people that don't like that shit, And look, if you're married to me, which you're not, if you're paying my bills, which you're not, if you're involved in my business, if it affects you personally, then hey, I'm totally down with hearing your input. But if you're just some random internet friend or stranger, not even friend, but acquaintance, whatever it may be, and you come to my wall and go, I don't like the thing that you posted, well, you can either accept the compromise, or if you still have a problem after the compromise, you can get the fuck out. I don't, I have 2 ex-wives. You think you're going to hurt me? Like, you know, like you think you're going to say something to me? You know, like I've been short my whole life and skinny, skinny fat and then fat. You know, it's like, what is it that you think you're going to tell me? You know, it's like I literally have lost everything, and you think your verbal words are going to be like, oh my God. You know, it's like, Tim, you need to be better as a person. It's like, what? Better for who? Like, I love me. Now, I haven't always loved me, but hey, I'm a good person. I am happy with what it is that I feel that I do, the connections I make, the relationships. And again, if I was besmirching that person terribly, you know, and being like, this woman that lives at this address is a slut, or, you know, it's just like, I don't know. It just seems much ado about nothing. And of course, you know, the best way to just sweep things under the rug is to dedicate a large portion of the podcast to talking about said issue, I'm sure.
Touche.
I don't know.
I agree. I don't think you should change, obviously, like you said. And I mean, you are who you are. You have an amazing sense of humor. And you just, you know, you got to be you. And if people don't like it or appreciate it, you know, that's on them.
It's tough, you know, because my Tony Robbins moment, right? So last night, I get my ass handed to me the first time at the Bellagio. I reach back in the pocket, get my ass handed to a second time. Go over to Bally's, change the fortune, and before I sit down to Bally's, I send a text, and I'm like, hey, serious question, like, what the fuck did I do in life to deserve the last 5 years, or what is wrong with me, quote unquote, to, you know, basically, yeah, what's wrong with me? What am I fucking up? What am I doing wrong? And, you know, my friend was very kind and reassuring and was like, look, you know, you've had a great run. Yeah, the last couple of years have been shitty, but like better days are ahead. And to me, if I had done what people want, you know, no, just be mediocre, Tim. Just be in the middle. Just post food photos and cat photos and talk about your Facebook life and be fake and don't talk about your struggles. And the other reason I talk about my struggles, it's like even Superman had kryptonite. Like I want people, if you take anything away, if this is the only episode you ever listen to, I've been a success in spite of my flaws, not because I was able to eliminate them, right? I'm not coming from a place that's perfect. Look, I may be able to look at a funnel and diagnose it, and here's what we're doing in X and Y and Z, and, you know, come up with this creative idea and write 3 Amazon books and start an e-com business that goes, you know, up to 10. I can do that stuff, and that doesn't seem a stretch for me. Like, don't get me wrong, it's tough, it's difficult, it's all those things, you know, but dating, I mean, I'm fucking all thumbs with that stuff. So I share my weaknesses so that people can go like, oh, this guy doesn't have it all put together. You know, like I love photography. I'm pretty decent at it according to other people. When I post stuff, everyone's like, and like, you know, I'll do concert photography. Then I go shoot a rodeo, you know, and then someone goes, God, Tim, everything you touch just like is amazing. And I want to tell that person, no, the fuck it's not. You know, like this is a dumpster fire where we're spinning plates on fingers, just trying to keep them up all on the air. It's like, yeah, I may be good at this one thing, but don't think it affects all areas of my life or that I'm perfect in it. So, yeah, and if I had been like other people have wanted me to be, I wouldn't have the personality I do. I wouldn't have the reach that I do. I wouldn't have the say. And, you know, I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to be... what was the old TV host? This is story time with Uncle Tim, because you youngins, if you're under the age of 40, just go ahead and, you know, fast forward 2 minutes, because you'd be like, who is this guy? Was it Morton Downey Jr., the guy that used to smoke the cigarettes on TV? Remember, he had like a big red lips logo, and he was like, he was like,
oh yeah, he was out there.
He was like a Howard Stern to me before Howard Stern.
TV,
yeah, and it was just basically like, you know, whatever the contrarian view, he was going to take it. And I don't remember what my point was when it came to him, but like he was very outspoken. He was there, and he was like 50 years of age, and to keep that going, his fall from grace was he faked that some Nazis attacked him in a bathroom and wrote a swastika on his head and Sharpie and like tore his shirt. And I just remember this is because I had no life and I watched TV, is that like he did an interview with the swastika still written on his head and still wearing the torn t-shirt, which is like, you know, those old man t-shirts that have the pocket. That's basically the pocket was torn there. And like the tear it looked like a scissor cut. It looked like
Right.
someone had cut it, and that's exactly what had happened. My whole point is he was being outrageous to try and remain relevant and keep pushing the envelope. And you can do that to a point, but the problem with that is you always got to better your best. Instead, I think you should be who you are as a person. Again, try to make amends where, look at the other person's point of view. Say, hey, you know what? Maybe you do got some good points. Let me try and compromise if you feel like you need to. But if you don't, fuck them. I mean, that's just, that's the other thing. Fuck people. Like, who cares what they think about you? We're so worried about what people think about us when the truth is they're not fucking thinking about us at all. You know why? Because they're wondering, what does that person think about me?
It's exactly what I told my kids the other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, no one's thinking about you. I mean, they just don't. Or, that one little comment they'll put on Facebook, like 10 seconds later, they're just moving on to their own thing,
Yeah.
People just don't care.
And I don't know about this, and I definitely don't feel like I am that person, but maybe a little bit I am. But have you ever known or worked with someone that's like they just had to blow up about whatever it was, and then afterwards it was like no big deal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
They were
it's
like,
like, see
yell
ya.
and
Yeah.
scream, and then 5 minutes later, like, all right, so you want to go get some lunch?
Right.
And you're like, you just called me every name in the book 2 seconds ago,
Yep.
So I don't know. This wasn't the thing that I had planned on talking about when we started recording. We are still in the robes, by the way. Day 2 of Robe Fest
Yes,
here at the
Robe
Resort
Fest.
World. Yeah. But
We should come up with our own line of robes.
oh yeah,
Tim Talks Robes.
Yeah, Tim Talks Robe. Yeah, with Tim Talks on the back there. I mean, we need them black. We need them plush. We need them
Yeah.
naughty by nature style
Yes.
for anybody that's old MTV Cribs. So what I would share with you one last time, and then we'll let you go for this week, is find compromise if you feel like there needs to be compromise made. Don't just automatically assume, like I used to, and like I still have to fight that, I'm 100% right and they're 0% right, or, I'm 0% wrong and they're 100% wrong. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Adjust if you feel it necessary, or that it would better enhance your reach with your message. If you're like, hey, you're a fucking idiot, and you start that conversation, well, whatever you say after that, they're going to just be transfixed on that first statement instead of being like, hey, we got some problems here, and, here's what we need to do to address them. And ultimately find out where you're comfortable being. But once you're comfortable, stay there, Don't change for anybody. My ex-girlfriend, who, to this day, I debate probably nightly of like, man, should I have stayed with her? Should I have not have? My perspective, my side of the relationship was when she met me, I was a concert photographer. I was shooting concerts 5 or 6 nights a week because that's what I was focusing on instead of work. Well, then as you date somebody, right, and they touch your private parts and they tell you that you're beautiful, and, and then all these great things, then they go, well, babe, could you just like maybe not film like 5 or 6 nights a week? Could you just do it a couple nights a week? And then you're like, yeah, I like having my penis touched. I'll do that. So you cut down, right? And then a couple months later, they're like, hey, babe, could you like cut down even more? And it got to the point where I was shooting 5 to 6 nights a week to where I was shooting like once every 2 weeks. And I've explained this in previous episodes, but to just make the standalone thing, like photography was the thing that I feel like saved my life after my ex-wife said, deuces, I'm out of here. And it brought me a lot of joy, satisfaction, and when my personal life was on fire, when my business life was on fire, it gave me a lot of sense of accomplishments, self-worth, all those healthy things. And I felt like my ex was trying to change who I was as a person and ultimately be like, yeah, no, I don't think you should be taking these photos and doing this and doing that. And it's like, well, when you met me, I was doing concert photography. And she's like,
Right.
yeah, but I just didn't know. And I was like, yeah, you did. So, I ultimately decided that me giving up everything I felt I had built wasn't worth the cost of the relationship. Now, there's more to it than that, but that was a big chunk for me. And that comes from, honestly, my last marriage, where I felt like I wanted to do all these things. I wanted to go travel the world. I wanted to live in a foreign country. That was my dream, but it wasn't my ex's dream. My ex's dream was a 9 to 5, security, paycheck, not relying on anybody else because of her own issues and things like that. But we just lived different lives. And in order to appease her, I gave up my sense of identity to put into the relationship, and I bet she feels the same way. And you can do that, by the way, folks. But here's what happens, right? You go to a restaurant, you go, hey, I'm hungry. And they go, I'm sorry, we're closed. You don't go, oh, that's okay, I'm no longer hungry. You go, well, fuck, okay, I mean, that sucks, but I'm still hungry, so I've got to go find another way, another outlet to get this, to get this need fixed. So you may be hungry for a little bit. You may go to bed hungry tonight. Hell, you may go to bed hungry tonight, wake up tomorrow and go, you know what? I'm going to power through breakfast, not eat. I'm going to power through lunch, not eat. You know what? I'll do it 24. I'll do it full. But someday, at some point, your body or you are going to break, and you're going to naturally return to be like, hey, I need to eat for substance,
Yes.
So this long analogy is basically like, if you think that I'm just going to give up these things to make this other person happy, those needs, wants, desires don't go away. And it only can and does a lot of time create conflicts. And I think a lot of times we show or we're agreeable to be in an image that is favorable to the other party. They go, oh man, this guy, he opens the doors and he cooks all the meals and he, goes to church with me and doesn't mind listening to my rants about the Real Housewives or whatever and watching trash reality TV, and in the real world, you're like, no, I don't like taking out the trash. I can't cook to save my life. Screw religion. I hate trash reality TV. Like you can put on a brave face for a little while, but eventually the truth is going to come out, and then you find yourself, at least how I did, where you're sitting in a marriage counselor's office and you go, what's our joint hobbies again? Like, what is it that we like about each other and our relationship to keep this thing going? And to me, that's a terrible place to be, and that's why I've made it my life's mission to single-handedly tear down every woman possible on Tinder so that they regret their life, their decisions, ever getting a phone or computer, ever logging on to that stupid app, or maybe, just maybe, I'm just trying to give someone a laugh or something to smile about during a shitty day, and maybe, just maybe, while I'm sitting at the tables, losing all of my money, I'm thinking, what's a way that I could bring my mood up? What's a way that I could enjoy this? What would make me happy in this situation? God forbid I put my needs first.
That's the thing, Tim. You need to find a girl that appreciates your amazing sense of humor.
I need to go the route of international, As an aside, I have a friend, and it's not the friend you all are thinking, it's another friend, that every couple of years I just log on into his Facebook profile, and it's a new girl from Colombia. Every 4 years. I'm like, do you just like, and I know exactly what it is. It's like, oh, I like this girl. She's super hot and attractive. I'll marry her as an American. She'll get her visa, and then she's gone. And I've seen it. This is the third girl I've seen this happen with. And now the first two, the last one I know, that's exactly what happened. I don't know if it happens all the time, but I'm just like, okay, it's very, very interesting for that. I don't know why I wanted to share that part, but as far as finding the humor part, it's like that's what I need to do. Be like, do you like eating? Yes, all right, great. You're like, I have a dowry for your family of 10 bags of rice, a donkey, and yeah.
Well, there was that girl who thought you were hilarious, but she wanted to just be friends or whatever, right?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Girl.
Yeah. Nothing
Yeah.
makes my dick harder than taking a girl out to have an amazing meal, inviting her back to your place. You guys hang out, have a great time, smoke a little of the devil's cabbage, watch some Bill Burr documentaries, hilarious. And then she goes home and goes, hey, I had an amazing time. You're such a great guy. You make me laugh. My soul feels lighter with you in my life. And I just feel like we could be the best of friends. And you're like, oh, well, that's my penis retracting inside. Again, why wouldn't I want to share that? Now, most people, well, you should keep that private. Yeah, maybe you will and you should. For me, I don't want to. And again, I wasn't disparaging to her. It wasn't like I was being mean. It was just kind of like, what? One of my favorite posts is like, this is how my dating life is going. And then it's some crazy, thing that you're just like, what the hell? There was some random girl on Twitter last night. I took a screenshot of her profile because it's like two girls with ginormous asses on the back of a boat. And it's just like, this is what you're putting on Tinder to like attract people. Like, it's fine, but that's funny to me. Imagine if I did that. I mean, just imagine. I want you to imagine this as we call this one to a close. I jump on
Please
top
do.
of my Chevy Silverado. Okay, I've got I've got a Speedo on, no shaving, of course. Keep a Afro man in a headlock down there. And I'm doing the seductive Sports Illustrated pose where I'm on my hands and knees and I'm looking back over my right shoulder. I mean, like, if I posted that on my Twitter profile, what do you think the response would be to that? I mean, I posted the one in my wrestling singlet,
Yes.
and I mean,
That's classic.
and that's the other thing, guys. I don't want you to think like I'm here being like, hi, my name is Tim, and I would like, it's like, I'm a funny and irreverent.
Ladies, that was not a sock, by the way.
Yeah. Someone's like, you need to stuff a sock in there. I was like, I already did. There's 3 of them in there. It's a lot of space, So, in closing, be you. Find a middle ground if you feel it's necessary. Move as far as you're willing to move. But once you're comfortable in your space, and more importantly, your being, be happy and content with that. Understand, Mother Teresa has people that fucking hate her guts. Gandhi has people that do. The Pope has people have tried to assassinate the Pope. People think Tom Hanks is like some crisis actor and was like part of the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile ring. Like, there are probably people right now that hate Mr. Rogers, and think about like
Yep.
the most lovable person in the world. So, if Mother Teresa can have haters, so can you. You can handle a few of them as well. And laughter and success and ultimately self-fulfillment and enjoyment of self. It's like, yeah, hey, you may not be happy about what I'm doing, but I'm smiling all the way to my heart-filled, centered bank. I promise that I will do better next time, as long as we move to a compromising mediocre middle. And next time we'll actually stay on script, although spoiler alert, we don't do scripts for these. I just hit record and go, hey, what are we talking about? Oh, let's go from there. We'll do better next time, and maybe I'll stay off Twitter. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll win Vegas between now and the next episode. Who knows? Only you'll know by paying attention and subscribing, liking, leaving a comment, sharing with people. Do all of those social media whore tricks so that I can get fake internet points, guys. I need fake internet points. I'm
Get
trying.
the 5-star reviews.
5-star
people.
reviews.
5-star.
I mean, I don't even know if this is going to be up on a platform. You can leave 5-star reviews, but wherever you can tell someone about this podcast, even if you share it with your Tinder dates, I'd love and appreciate it as always. Thanks for listening. We'll do better next time. See you then.